when they come out and they're like, we feel free and we feel comfortable out here. To me, that's the future.
I've been a foster parent now for 5 years. And as of the past few years, we've kind of been taking in more kids who have special needs and really need some help coming out of their shells or dealing with any sorts of trauma. Last summer, we were having our hands full with a group of kids who were giving us a hard time, and I was starting to reach out. We went through public health. I never found really much help through there. We did several different kinds of therapies. They all helped just a little bit, but not really significantly. I brought my first 3 foster kids here, and instantly I noticed 2 of the main kids, they don't speak to anyone. They just have severe social anxiety. I would say they lived very sheltered lives prior to this. They didn't participate in any extracurricular. They didn't go visiting other kids. They didn't have people coming over to their house. So they had a lot of issues. And then coming into my house where we already had 4 children was quite difficult for them.
The idea behind Equine Assisted Psychotherapy really is to just encourage our clients to open up, to find that confidence in talking about what they are currently experiencing, what they're currently feeling, kind of what's going on. Oftentimes when we're expected to, say what's going on, say how we really are feeling, it's hard because maybe we've never had to do this before and it's intimidating. The neat thing is when we bring the horse into the picture, that horse really allows people to find that sense of security, that sense of safety, where they're now more willing, more confident in, again, talking about what's currently going on in their life.
I don't know. It makes me feel a little better because they can understand me and they're listening. I don't really work that well with certain people, but he's very easy to work with lots of people, and he teaches me different ways for people to understand me more clearly. Makes me a little more happy and not annoyed that much, because sometimes I get annoyed when people don't understand me and then they don't listen that much. I really like Jackson because he sometimes acts like a clown, and he's easy to work with.
A lot of times, we'll come in and we'll say one thing, yep, I feel great, but inside it's a complete whirlwind of feelings and emotions, and we're trying to hide that. The neat thing with the horses is they bring that out without us even, verbalizing it. So essentially, the horse themselves, they are offering us as therapists a bridge. They are building the bridge so that as a therapist, we can better understand where our clients are on that emotional front.
What Stephanie helped them to do is to open up out of their shell, to start testing those boundaries, starting to push past their fears, to try and speak. The main thing was for them to use their voice to speak out when they were in uncomfortable situations, or to even share their feelings as in, no, I don't like this. No, I don't want to do that. Or yes, can I please try it? So since then, one of the children I have has then joined basketball, badminton, soccer, and a lot of these activities on the very first day, he will clam up. He still has his social anxiety attack. He freaks out, he cries, he bawls. little bit of talking with him, reassuring him of what he has learned and how it has affected his life. After that first crying session, he will then go out and try. And he always comes back to me and he says, I faced my fears. I did it. I spoke up. And he has the biggest smile on his face. And he's so happy and he's so proud of himself for challenging himself. And that makes me proud, because now this little boy doesn't have these sad or hurtful feelings or these what ifs inside, because he's learning to challenge that, or to speak up for himself, or to try new things. And everyone around us has noticed that even in school, like for education wise, he is starting to improve significantly. When this kid moved in with me, he was sitting at about 75% at all ones, meaning he was failing everything, and the other 25% he had twos. Now his report card, he has 1, 2, 75% threes, and the rest are fours. He's won awards in school for most improved, most friendly, just the small awards that the school gives out, and this kid is just winning them, and the smile on his face is amazing. So this is our second time coming back to Stephanie, and this time around I brought my own biological children as well, because I figured, hey, like, if she can help this little boy to break out and change so significantly, then she can help my kids.
When they're out here, it's a sense of freedom. We still dig into some of those challenges. We still dig into what's going on. But when they come out and they're like, we feel free and we feel comfortable out here. To me, that's a way of, that's the future. That's the future of what therapy, counseling programs are going to start entailing.
I could have had the choice to be that person in the room talking one-on-one to a kid, but sometimes they don't need that. They need to feel something, and with these horses, they feel the horses. They don't just talk to somebody. I mean, we do talk with the kids and we let them express themselves, but I feel kind of forced when you're in a room one-on-one with a child. You're kind of, I know the way you talk to them, you kind of active listen, where you let them talk and you kind of ask them questions until they let their feelings out. But here, when they touch a horse or when they're close to a horse, they open up so much more. I honestly feel like in today's world where kids don't actually go out or get to go out and be in nature or around animals.
Stephanie is an esteemed therapist. Her ability to utilize the natural healing capacity of animals concurrently with humans leads up to a premise of an emotional safety while exploring the capacity of healing.
Like, a lot of these kiddos, they've got some stories that, maybe not the kindest, maybe coming from backgrounds where, there is a lot of hurt, there is a lot of trauma, there's, a lot of abandonment, there's, these things that truthfully no child should ever have to endure. But here we are, and, they've got very colorful histories. Histories aside, they come into this arena, they grab their horses, and all of a sudden, it's almost like the history is one thing, but they're now writing a new chapter for their future. And they're taking that opportunity to really push through and find their areas of growth. Find out what they are capable of, what are their strengths. And then, to realize that. A lot of times I'll say, and I'll say it to my kids, I'll say it to my parents, where it's like, you're really good at, or, you really demonstrate a lot of mindfulness. But for them to bring it up on their own, that this is what I noticed about today's session, that is the key part. Bringing it up on their own, asking for take-home resources. Hey, I felt really good, doing this stuff, with Strawberry. Can I take some stuff home to keep that going? Those are the pieces that kind of stand out. One of the biggest challenges I'm noticing is social anxiety, or just anxiety in general. So that's one of the big kind of internal pieces. That's the one piece that seems to always come out, whether it's from a parent, a caregiver, so-and-so is struggling with anxiety. I like to look at that as why. What's causing this? Why are we feeling like this? So we start doing a little more digging. Now, whether it's our, kids themselves kind of starting to share their stories, or again, maybe it's just you learn a little bit about what they've been through. But a lot of it boils down to childhood trauma, that, these behaviors are coming out because something not so good was happening, with this child. Now, whether it was something they witnessed, experienced, felt, whatever it was, for that child, it's a huge trauma piece. And, we revert, we have, behaviors, we lock up, we, again, depending on the age that we're at, when stuff like when serious stuff happens like that, a lot of times it shuts us down. Lots of times, with some of our younger kiddos, we kind of go back to behavioral challenges. These kids are coming out and you're kind of like, no, these kids don't want to be, naughty. They don't want to be bad. They don't want to be mean. But we have to relearn how to be kind. We have to relearn how to be calm. We have to relearn how to, express our needs, so that we're safe versus just reacting. It's almost in a sense where we have to learn how to think before we act. And with a lot of, these kids that are coming out here, we're really stuck in that acting or reacting stage. So we're working on that let's think before we do piece. So that comes out. And yeah, like I say, lots is trauma-based. That, some of their stories, some of their experiences, it's very heartbreaking. But then you see them out with the horses, you start seeing them smile, you start seeing them breathe, and you're like, there it is. That's what I needed. That's, you got a heartbreaking history, but your future right now is definitely something that's promising.
I don't know any other way than to say that Stephanie is a shining star. Ability to be attentive, to connect with individuals, but then also to match her personality and the individual's needs with a particular horse is quite unique. She'll identify what a person might need. So if a boundary is something that they might need to work on, she'll pair them with a horse that will challenge them around boundaries in a very gentle way. So her work, again, is really unbelievable. It's worth your while to go spend some time with her and to learn about how she developed her own niche in the area of psychotherapy and the changes that are going to develop as a result of her work.
Chase's mom, and he's been with me for 33 and a half years. He's been a remarkable guy. He started off at 1 pound 6, didn't walk till he was over 2 or 3, and then he learned to walk, and he's had a big interest in horses the past few years. This program has been immensely awesome. Chase has grown so much over the past 2 years. I think they have some kind of connection where they feel he's safe and he feels they're safe. And they certainly do a lot of learning together. Jackson doesn't realize how much of a teacher he is as well.
Well, actually, I had, one boy, he said to me a few times, so his favorite horse was Prince, and he would always say, Prince is always going to be here for me. I can count on him. This horse, he's kind of like my only real friend. I know people, I know other kids my own age, but even having that realization of what is that healthy friendship, where he can say, well, I know Prince is my friend. Prince isn't going to, backstab me. Prince isn't going to do me wrong. And, just to feel that connection with him, being a part of, those journeys alongside these kids, when they have that moment, when they start realizing, when they start saying, when they start verbalizing those pieces, that's just where I sit back and I'm just like, okay, that's super cool. I'm not sure if I should cry, or maybe I'll cry when everybody goes home, and that's kind of a wrap to the day. Because it does, it hits you differently.
I definitely have cried many tears over this. I got involved with Stephanie through social services. The lessons that we were doing with Stephanie, and we were actually talking about it as a family, and how at that time it was basically just the exercises and the horses that we were talking about. And now as a family, we're actually able to bring those lessons into our home and still have our communication. And I see a huge change in my children as of today. I now have 4 children, and we are now a family, and we are now communicating, and they are doing very, very well, very well. And we're got our bond stronger than ever.
I feel as though it's, it's that future piece where we're coming back around in a circle here, that realizing, oh, maybe that hands-on, natural nature, animal piece kind of is important. To me, it's a program, it's a therapy where there shouldn't be competition, so to speak, because it's something that really needs to blossom. And I've said this right from day one, that programs like Equine Assisted Psychotherapy, every community should have 5-6 arenas and be full-time.